Indians got a great start from Carlos Carrasco last night, but the Royals scraped out a couple of runs late to climb into second place in the AL Central. Now the Tribe has to get the offense on track against Irvin Santana, who shut down the Tribe back in April. Ubaldo Jimenez looks for his second straight win. Next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, it's Indians baseball tonight. The Tribe will look to even up their series against the Kansas City Royals at a game apiece. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tough loss for the Tribe last night as they dropped the opener to Kansas City. A well-pitched game, which has been a theme of late. The Indians have won 4 of their last 6, even in spite of last night's loss. And quality starting pitching has been a big reason for their turnaround here of late.
And they're going to try and continue to get Ubaldo Jimenez on that quality track, because if he can go out there and just throw the ball and not have a big inning where he throws 30, 35 pitches, get you deep in the ball game, that's what they're looking for. He pitched a gem against Kansas City his last time, 7 innings, 3 hits. He didn't allow a run. He's 3-2 in his career and 5-2 in his last 9 starts. Matched up against Irvin Santana. In his career, 3-8 against the Indians. Hasn't had much luck. He beat him earlier in the year, though. He went 7 innings, did not allow a run. Good fastball, very good slider, and we'll see what he can do to the Indians tonight. But the Kansas City staff, they give you innings, so they keep them in ball games, and they try and score late and win.
Well, and the Kansas City Royals have been doing a lot of that lately, winning. They've climbed ahead of the Indians now in the American League Central Divisions. We'll see if the Indians can flip-flop with KC before tonight is all said and done. It's the Indians and the Royals. It's round 2 of their 3-game series, and the play-by-play is coming up next. And we welcome you into Progressive Field on a beautiful but cool evening. That wind is blowing straight in off the lake. It's going to knock balls down in center field, and it's going to keep the temperature down as we approach game time tonight between the Indians and the Kansas City Royals. On the hill is Ubaldo Jimenez. Let's take a look at Ned Yost starting 9 for KC. Alex Gordon leading it off, followed by Eric Hosmer. Salvador Perez in the 3-hole, followed by Billy Butler, who will DH and bat cleanup, then Lorenzo Cain. David Lowe had 2 hits last night, including a double for Kansas City, batting 6th. Mike Moustakas, Chris Getz, and Alcides Escobar hitting 9th.
Ubaldo Jimenez on the mound for the Indians. He is 5-4 this year, 479 earned run average. He's done very well in the month of June. In his 3 starts, 2-1, a 225 earned run average. At home, it hasn't been so good. He's 2-3 with a 753, but he won his last start against Tampa here, looking to win 2 in a row here at Progressive Field. Jimenez in his career, 3-2 against the Kansas City Royals, and he pitched a gem against them earlier this year where he went 7 innings, allowed 3 hits and no runs.
Alex Gordon will lead it off here tonight for Kansas City. 0 for 4 last night in the series opener. And Ubaldo Jimenez hits it over for a first pitch strike. He missed up high, 1-1.
Well, if there's anything he took in after last night's game, watching Carrasco, he was very aggressive to the Kansas City hitters, pitching ahead in the count.
And there's a liner to the right fielder, Drew Stubbs, for out number 1.
Take a look at the Kia Indians defense behind Jimenez this evening. It'll be Brantley in left, Bourne in center, Stubbs is in right. Chisenhall is back. Big Lonnie playing third, Aviles at short, Kipnis at second, Reynolds is at first with Santana behind the plate.
Hunter Wendelstadt calling the balls and strikes tonight. Alan Porter is at first, Mike Estabrook filling in for crew chief Jerry Lane is at second, and the acting crew chief Greg Gibson is at third. Up high, ball 1, the pitch to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer 1 for 4 with a double in last night's game. Two 2-0 the count on Hosmer. Swung on and missed. Now the 2-1 pitch. And a strike is called. And that will even the count now. Hosmer taking close but didn't get the call, did Jimenez. So now a full count. Salvador Perez waiting on deck. And a swing and a miss. Jimenez strikes him out, 2 down.
He challenged him with the fastball and threw it by him.
Let's take a look right now at our keys to the game. For Ubaldo Jimenez, can he duplicate that April outing in Kansas City?
That would be nice.
And can the Indians get the offense on track? They left 11 men on base last night.
Well, if Jimenez duplicates, the Indians did score 9 runs in that game that he pitched, so it would be nice. I think he could duplicate if the offense does that.
Salvador Perez takes a look at ball 1. A late swing evens the count at 1-1. Perez 0 for his last 10. A little bit low.
You know, Perez, a guy that earlier in the year we saw him, he was down in the lineup more. But since their resurgence, I've seen him hit 4th in this lineup, now hitting in the number 3 hole.
in the air to center field. Michael Bourne is right there. He makes the catch. And Kansas City goes quickly and quietly here in the first. The Indians are coming to bat. By Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Bourne will lead it off for the Tribe. He was 1 for 3 with a double, and he walked twice in last night's ball game. Mike Aviles in the 2-hole, followed by Jason Kipnis, who had his 10-game hitting streak come to an end last night. Carlos Santana hitting cleanup, followed by Michael Brantley and then Mark Reynolds. Lonnie Chisenhall back in the big leagues with the Tribe, hitting 7th. Ryan Rayburn 8th. Drew Stubbs batting 9th.
Urban Santana on the mound for his 14th start this year, his 16th career start against the Tribe. You know, just a .500 record, but a great ERA. He logs a lot of innings for the Kansas City staff, 92, giving up 79 hits, 71 strikeouts. Good fastball, hard slider. This guy has pitched at least 6 innings in all 13 games this year and has pitched 7 innings in his last 6 starts. So he's been giving him some distance. He is 2-0 in the month of June.
And it's down low, ball 1. He jabbed at it. 1-1 the count. You know, it's interesting. You look at Santana in his last start, Tampa Bay. You see the final score 10-1. You think, oh, he finally had an easy one with a lot of run support. And yet it was a scoreless game until Kansas City scored 8 runs in the 6th inning.
Late, yeah.
So it was still another one of those nip and tuck games for Santana where he hasn't had a lot of run support at times.
Well, he's turned it around in the month of June.
Full count to Bourne.
Even though this guy has not had a lot of luck against the Indians, he's pitched well. Go back, he no-hit him a couple of years ago.
And he snares the grounder off the bat of Bourne for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first.
Check out the Royals' defense behind Santana this evening. In the outfield, it's going to be Gordon in left, Kane is in center, Lowe is in right, Moustakas at third, Escobar at short, Getz is at second, Hosmer at first with Perez behind the plate.
Ball up high to Mike Aviles, 1 for 4 last night. It's in the gap, but on the run is Lorenzo Cain, and the center fielder makes the catch. 2 down. Irvin Santana with a no-hitter against the Indians back in 2011. The Indians scored a run in that game thanks to an error and a wild pitch, but they did not have a hit. So for Santana, who endured a lot of beatings at the hands of the Indians, finally got his revenge.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to get your first win against a team in your career. Might as well no-hit them, and you're pretty much guaranteed. But they still, as you said, got on the board. I remember he made his very first start against the Indians back in when he was a rookie for the Angels, and they hit for the Cyclone the very first inning.
Kipnis with a ground ball to first. Hosmer will take it himself, and the Indians go 1-2-3. We are scoreless after 1. McDonald's now introducing 3 exciting new quarter pounders. And by Kia. We go now to the second inning. No score. Billy Butler, Lorenzo Cain, and David Lowe coming up for Kansas City. Butler 1 for 4 with the double last night.
Now the double came up big late in the ball game.
He led off the 9th inning for Kansas City with that 2-bagger. Butler finding his stroke offensively in his last 13 games. He's batting at a .354 clip. Tied for second in the American League in walks. He's always had a very good eye. And a strike called, 3-1. Draws the walk here. And so Kansas City gets their leadoff man aboard in the second. With more on Ubaldo Jimenez, let's go downstairs and hear from Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, it's key for Ubaldo not to take anything off his pitches tonight. I spoke with Indians pitching coach Mickey Callaway, and he told me that the numbers on Ubaldo actually show a significant difference in his fastball command when he throws at least 92 miles an hour. It's much better than when he gets ahead and tries to take a little bit off his fastball to finish a hitter off.
Not overthrowing. Yeah, I like it. He can stay around the strike zone a little bit more. And we say that about Justin Masterson, too, at times. You know, that ball, he has better movement when he's 88 to 91, 92. He can also get it up there 94, 95. And I think you stay within yourself when you're a pitcher and you don't try to overthrow.
Lorenzo Cain takes up high, 1-1. Swing and a miss, good off-speed pitch. What Katie was just talking about and what you followed up on does make me wonder. The addition of the in-stadium radar gun. You know, it's been a nice novelty, I think, for fans to look up and see how hard a guy's throwing. But has it been maybe more detrimental to pitchers overall since we've seen it?
I think it could be to some pitchers.
Oh, a little half swing is going to work out well for the Royals. It drops in. Butler stops at second base, and Cain with a little half swing, and Kansas City has their first two on in the second.
You know, I think it could be people caught up into speed of pitches instead of locations. That's just a good pitch. You look at the half swing. That's putting the ball in play. He just bloops it into right field, right center field, goes as a base hit, and they have first and second, nobody out.
You know, we've seen and heard stories of pitchers who will look up at the radar gun and all of a sudden they don't see what they think should be up there, and all of a sudden they'll start trying to throw harder because of it. And they'll talk about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Boy, I was looking at the radar gun. I didn't think I was throwing hard enough, so I tried to reach back for a little something more. And
I think with some people it can hurt. It used to be where the only people with guns were the scouts in the stands.
Yeah.
You know, that were looking at people and, you know, trying to get an idea what a guy was throwing. And now everybody gets a chance to see it. It's on your screen on every pitch. It's in every ballpark, as you say. And I would have to say, yes, it definitely gets into the heads of pitchers.
I think, as you have stated so many times before, the hitters will let you know if your stuff's any good or not, regardless of velocity.
Yeah, or location. You pitch, I don't care how hard you throw. If you're throwing it around the middle of the plate or getting a good portion of that plate, they will find a way to hit it hard somewhere.
David Lowe taking two quick strikes, and it's 0-2. Well, the number 6 hitter for Kansas City, who went 2 for 4 last night with a double.
Well, that one base hit was a sacrifice bunt where Hill slipped and fell at loaded the bases late in the ball game.
Good point.
And that went as a single. I mean, he did his job. He put the bunt down and trying to sacrifice and move the guys over. And doing that job, he gets a base hit. It should have been a sacrifice, moving the runners up, and Hill just fell down. It went as a single. So that was the bonus that he received last night.
The 0-2. Spiked it, and a good block by Santana. One ball, 2 strikes. Low followed by Mike Moustakas here in the second for Kansas City. Royals threatening with their first 2 aboard. Another one down in the dirt, and it's back to even at 2-2. Ubaldo taking a long time, and now Lowe steps away. Got a piece of that, got a piece of Santana. Count stays at 2-2.
He was rubbing that forearm, and that's probably exactly where it hit. Right above the tape on his wrist, right on the forearm.
So a 2-ball, 2-strike count. After Lowe was down 0-2. Took a couple of pitches in the dirt, now fouling one off. And now a full count. So an 8-pitch at bat for David Lowe as Mike Moustakas waits in the on-deck circle. And Jimenez fires, just threw his bat at it, out of play.
Nice play by a fan. Barehanded it, reaching back. He's shaking his hand, but it was a good grab.
Pitch count climbing already. Look at that, 30 pitches. We're in the second inning with nobody out. The 3-2. Again, it's fouled back.
Well, this is what he did in his last start. Remember early in Texas, even though he settled down. But he's at a 9-pitch at bat. He's at an 18-pitch inning. Remember the first 3, he really hung in there, and then he had a quick next couple of innings that really helped him out. But he pitched 5 innings in that start. That was it.
Popped in the air, shallow left center, but the left fielder, Brantley, was there, but Bourne ran in front of him to catch it.
Well,
one away.
You know, with that wind, Matt, that's what happens. You got to make sure if you can catch it as a center fielder, you go ahead and call it. I know Brantley could have got there as well.
Our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Kansas City, 34 up and 34 down. It's their best record through 68 games since back in 2003. Moustakas pops one up foul back out of play. You may remember back in '83, that's when Tony Pena was at the helm in Kansas City, and they got off to a good start, and everyone thought they were going to be in it for the long haul, but they stalled out. They finished above 500, but they never really made a legitimate push.
Well, 500 back in the days for that then was great. I mean, for them, it was a way of looking up. But they have struggled in trying to get back there again.
Foul back.
You know, and they've done it really, I think, with their pitching. They lead the league in ERA this year. They went out and acquired some very good starters that have logged some innings for them. It's taken a lot of pressure off their bullpen. Their bullpen's ranked number 1 in the league. So, I mean, it's been a combination. And if they start to score, they're going to be really tough.
Moustakas strikes out, 2 down. Second strikeout for Jimenez. And the young Kansas City third baseman struggles at the plate continue.
There you go. He just got it above the belt.
Mike Moustakas hitting just 183. And now Chris Getz pops it up. Might be playable here. Mark Reynolds over near the photo well. Can't quite reach it. Not sure how much the wind affected that pop-up. You see Reynolds thinking he's got a beat on it, but...
What's it get, the camera?
Hits almost.
No. I see Chris Madden in there. There's another ugly finder.
Strike called. It's 0-2. Grounded towards second base. Jason Kipnis on the big bounce. Throws it over, and the inning is over. The first two get aboard for Kansas City. Jimenez rights the ship. We are scoreless, middle of the second. Michael Brantley and Mark Reynolds due up for the Tribe. And Carlos Santana 1 for 4 last night with a home run. Santana able to juice one off James Shields. It was the only run the Indians could muster.
That was a stinger right there through the wind. High fastball, got it out of here.
Down in the dirt. Santana with that home run last night extended his hitting streak to 9 in a row. It's gone 10 for 32 during his hit streak. Tied with Jose Reyes for the second longest current hit streak in the AL. Santana fires, and Carlos lines it into right field for a base hit. Well, the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in the second.
Let the streak continue. He got that one. He tried to throw it inside. He went with looked like a little change up away the pitch prior to that. Santana lines it into right field. Leadoff single.
So Carlos Santana gets the first hit off Irvin Santana. And now Michael Brantley steps in 0 for 4 last night. Fastball away. upstairs 2-0. Brantley so consistent through the first 2 months of the season. Michael hit .286 in April. He hit .311 in May, but it's been a struggle so far here in the month of June, and still a long way to go. A lot of baseball left to be played this month. There's a high pop left field. Over near the line is Gordon. Makes the catch just inside the line, 1 away. Here's the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Most outfield assists in the last couple of years. Alex Gordon, his teammate Jeff Francoeur, right behind him. Del Francoeur not playing. And then you got Torrey Hunter. But Gordon, remember, he began his career as a third baseman, and the best thing that happened to him was moving to the outfield. That's when his career really took off.
Won his first Gold Glove, so yeah, he really has blossomed into a complete ball player from the outfield.
Popped up by Mark Reynolds, back out of play. A little bit outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Santana has given up 14 home runs on the year, but 10 of them have been solo shots.
And that is a long foul ball.
Take a look at this pitch on our Nissan pitch tracker. That ball, he wanted it away. It stayed middle of the plate, and Reynolds turned on it. If he throws that ball where they wanted it, he might have hit it out of the ballpark. But this one was foul.
Broke his bat on this one. Rolls it to the shortstop, Escobar, to Getz on to Hosmer. An inning-ending double play. 2 complete. No score in Cleveland.
MLB.com, available on iPhone and iPad. Download free today.
Alcides Escobar, 1 for 3 in the series opener, takes a pitch high for ball 1. Once again, it's a 3-0 count. Bullseye, 3-1. Escobar to be followed by Alex Gordon. Then Eric Hosmer here in the third for Kansas City. Escobar didn't like the call by Hunter Wendelstedt, with the count now full at 3-2. Payoff pitch. High, ball 4. So Jimenez walks the leadoff man for the second inning in a row, and it brings up Alex Gordon. Here's our great clip of the game from last night. Alex Gordon shattering the bat. Carlos Carrasco was dynamite last night in the ball game for the Indians. He went 7 1/3, 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 4. You hope that's something that he can certainly build on going forward.
Yeah, he was fun to watch last night. I mean, he had electric stuff. He was throwing mid-90s, 95, 96, a great slider. Seemed like he could throw it for strike at any time, and had a good changeup too. Very fun to watch.
Alex Gordon lined out to right field his first time up. Hit it hard, but hit it right at Drew Stubbs. And now Santana going to go out and talk to Jimenez, who's having a tough time finding the strike zone now here in the third. Ubaldo Jimenez and his counterpart, Irvin Santana, grew up in the same Dominican town, San Cristobal, which also produced the likes of Jose Rio. Loosely translated, means the land of strong arms. It also produced Jose Guillen, remember the rifle arm he had as an outfielder, and Raul Mondesi, who could chuck it from the outfield with the best of them, too.
Must be something in the water there.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. Outside, he missed 3-1. Back out of play. And a full count now for Gordon.
They'll be off and running on this pitch. Escobar has 10 stolen bases, hasn't been caught, but it's a 3-2 count, and you have a feeling that Gordon's going to put it in play here. So Ned Yost will start the runner.
There goes the runner. And a foul tip just glanced off the bat of Gordon.
Boy, I didn't even see it hit the bat, to be honest with you. I thought the ball went down in the dirt, but it was just a quick deflection. He barely started that bat head and got a piece of it.
Escobar draws a throw from Jimenez. He knows he's going to be taken off on the 3-2.
That's what you need. You need a ball hit right at one of your fielders, like a line drive. Double him off if he's on the run, and he will be.
There he goes. Foul right back. Another 3-2 pitch coming. Ned Yost trying to grab some early momentum. He had his first 2 on in the second inning, and the Royals did nothing with it. He sends the runner. It's ball 4, and once again his first 2 are aboard here in the third, both via the free pass, and Jimenez has walked 3. Coming into tonight, Jimenez had only given up 59 hits in 67 2/3 innings. And his walks were more or less under control, 34 against 67 strikeouts. But here tonight, at least in the early going, he's pitching from behind. Got away with it in the second. Now,
well, this
can
is
he do it again
a
in the
lot
third?
like the game he had in Texas. You've got 5 Kansas City hitters already with 5 or more pitches, and that ups the pitch count. And again, it's tough to go deeper into the game, and there's another wild pitch. And the Indians lead the league in that department. So both runners are going to be moved up. There you go. It's down in the dirt. Gets away from him.
Terry Francona was asked about, this before the ball game, and certainly there is shared blame. I mean, it's partly on the pitchers, but I think there are a number of those times where he feels like the catcher's got to keep it in front of him.
Well,
keep it from being a wild
last
pitch.
Night he should have kept it in front of him last night. They have on this homestand, he's allowed 3 runners to score on wild pitches in this homestand, one being last night. That's their 39th wild pitch this year. That would have been the double play ball he was looking for.
Instead, the Royals grab the lead, and Santana knows it. So it's the first out of the inning, and the Royals have the first run of the game. 1-0 Kansas City.
Here's the same pitch last night. I mean, you have to stop that ball. And that, with the game on the line, bases loaded, he got to 0-2 count. You know when you call the breaking ball, they're going to throw it in the dirt to go for the strikeout. And it just didn't get there. It was close at the plate, but he was safe. And he knew it after the game. You don't have to tell him. Well,
Indians bring the infield in for Salvador Perez.
That wild pitch cost him a run. That would have been a ground ball double play. As a pitcher, you can't be afraid when you get a hitter up there of throwing the ball in the dirt. You have to trust your catcher. And I know it's not easy. It's got to be awfully difficult for a guy to stay back there and try and protect it. But when you see the breakdown, Santana now has, when he's been behind the plate, 30 wild pitches, which leads the league as far as catchers go.
Down low.
And I know they have guys that throw splitters and breaking balls and everything in the dirt, but I'll tell you what, so does every other team.
That one gets away from Santana. Here comes another run home.
I mean, what can you say?
At what point does it start getting in your head, too?
Well, it's got to be in his head right now. That's the 5th run now scored on wild pitches with Santana behind the plate. And sooner or later, I mean, it's got to stop. That ball, he's up. He's not down as a catcher to block it. He's up. This is a ball. You just block. You don't catch it. You block it.
Trying to pick that like an infielder.
Yes, you don't pick it like an infielder. You just have to block it. That's why you have the chest protector. So 2 wild pitches, they have 2 runs.
Michael Bourne makes a fine running catch for out number 2.
But then again, they're gift wrapped. 2 walks, 2 wild pitches, 2 runs for Kansas City.
And so Billy Butler. And, of course, you know, the walks. So Jimenez not doing himself any favors. Billy Butler takes a strike. He walked his first time up. Bounce to third. Lonnie Chisenhall throws him out. Kansas City has scored their last 3 runs in this series, all on wild pitches. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Two 2-0 in favor of Kansas City as we go now to the bottom half of inning number 3. Bottom third of the Indians' order. Recently recalled Lonnie Chisenhall, who was really swinging the bat well at AAA. How about 390? And that's over 105 at-bats with 8 doubles, 2 triples, 6 homers, and 26 RBIs in the 27 games he played for the Clippers. Now, the question is, Rick, can he take what he was doing there, the things that he was doing well, the things that he worked on, and can they translate to here at the big league level?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, you bring up a guy that's swinging it. He's earned the promotion to come back. So hopefully it'll carry over. He's hot. You're not bringing him up at a time where he's scuffling or his confidence. He's coming up about as high as you can get right now, and I'm sure thrilled to get back. So hopefully it does transfer up here to this level. I'm sure the pitching, we've seen some very good pitching on this homestand so far, and this guy's no slouch.
Outside, he missed 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They have a different way up at this level to find your weakness, and once they find it, they exploit it day in and day out.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out. 1 down here in the third. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report, brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. The Central Division leading Detroit Tigers, a double whammy. Both on the 15-day DL as of yesterday. Right-handed starter Anibal Sanchez, who you remember missed a start against the Indians with that shoulder problem. And
right.
Alex Avila, their catcher, who has had a tough time all season long with the bat. And he's on the DL with a forearm injury.
That didn't stop Max Scherzer last night, did it? Getting win number 10. 10 and
10-0.
0 and had double-digit punch-outs. He's having some kind of year.
I think the last Tiger to start 10-0 was like 1909 or something.
Yeah, you got to go back a long time. I remember Doyle Alexander started, I think, 10-0 with them, but that was when he was traded in the middle of the year for John Smoltz back in I think 87 maybe, or
yeah, that would have been the year. Well, you would have thought, what was it, Denny McClain, when he won, 30 games, you would have thought he might have been 10-0 that year.
that's some kind of run. And still doesn't have a complete game in his career. That's hard to believe with his stuff, for me anyway.
Full count for Rayburn. And he draws a one-out walk.
Well, the new Tribe Park and Ride will bus you to and from Progressive Field from 5 area suburbs on 5 select dates, including this Saturday. Purchase your fare for only $5 per person at Indians.com. Plan your trip.
Mike Pochta did a little quick research. He said Danny McClain that year in 1968 started 9-1.
Okay. That's not bad.
You take that, right?
Every day.
As the saying goes, it's not how you start, they remember how you finish.
That's true. But it is always nice to get off to a good start for your own self-confidence.
Well, you have to wonder, what will the rest of the year hold for Max Scherzer, for Corbin in Arizona? There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Escobar to Getz. They'll get the force there for out number 2. Rayburn erased Stubbs aboard on the fielder's choice. Well, and Matt Moore was he was 8-0, but he hasn't had any luck since.
The rain delay gave him the whammy here in Cleveland that one game. He started here, and who was it for? It was Kluber.
Corey Kluber.
It didn't hurt Kluber, but it certainly hurt Matt Moore. Although it did affect both of them their very next start.
Yes. Michael Bourne lines it right at the third baseman Moustakas to end the inning. 3 complete. 2-0 Kansas City. It's a 2-0 Kansas City lead as we move along to the fourth inning. Lorenzo Cain will lead off for the Royals. Jimenez and Santana have each pitched 3 innings. But look at how many pitches Jimenez has already had to make.
You know, and when you don't prove you're throwing strikes early, hitters will sit there and wait on you. And when he has gotten ahead 0-2, he hit like one for David Lowe. He let him back in the count and got a full count. He ended up throwing 10 or 11 pitches in that at bat.
I think his last inning, I think that third inning, he made 25 pitches.
Yeah.
There's a foul back.
Well, he made, I think, 25 in the second, too. It's just, he does that a lot. It seems like in every start. There you go, 25-24. Sorry about that.
Missed it by 1.
But that's why this guy's a 5-6 inning top pitcher. When he's pounding the strike zone, throwing strikes, then they end up swinging the bats a little bit more. But when they sit back and they're going to make him throw strikes, every hitter sees five pitches.
Lorenzo Cain strikes out. That's the third K for Jimenez. 1 down here in the fourth. All right, here's our AT&T UVerse Rewind. The Royals have scored 3 straight runs in the series on wild pitches.
This is a common sight recently, man. Santana not being able to keep a ball in front of him, allowing base runners to move. 2 runs last inning, and they did not have a hit. Cannot do that. That goes along with, you know, your defensive situations. When you're not scoring runs, you can't give any up.
Swung out and missed. Good off speed. That Low fooled who flied out to center his first time up. Two balls and a strike. Now the 2-1 pitch. Upstairs. 3-1. He deals. And it's fouled right back. A full count.
This is the 5th full count tonight for Jimenez.
Broke his bat in the air right field, dropping in a hurry, but Drew Stubbs gallops in to grab it. 2 down. Time now for the AT&T trivia question. Three catchers have won Rookie of the Year and a Gold Glove in the same season. Who are they? We'll have the answer coming up later on. In there for a strike. Off-speed pitch, misses. And we've got a 2-1 count now on Mike Moustakas, who chased a high fastball to strike out his first time up. Full count. This will be the 80th pitch on the night for Ubaldo. The 3-2. In the air, left field, a base hit. So Moustakas keeps the inning alive. His first hit in the series. And that snaps an 0 for 6. For Moustakas, just his second hit in 14 at-bats on the Royals' current road trip. Now Chris Getz, he grounded out his first time up to second base. And it's quickly 0-2. In the air, right field, Drew Stubbs over near the line. He's got room, he makes the catch, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It remains Kansas City 2, Cleveland nothing. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, who's left in Columbus to help the Indians? Urban Meyer wants his players to stay focused at Ohio State. And Sam Amico with more on the Cavs. Get complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Mike Aviles, fly to center his first time up. He takes a called strike.
We'll see if that second time through the lineup does anything for the Indians. Bourne hit a line drive to end last inning with a runner on right to third base.
Big hop. Chris Getz throws him out. One down. Now Jason Kipnis. He grounded out his first time up. Kipnis had his 10-game hitting streak come to an end last night. Kipnis taking 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a foul right back.
If Santana can keep the ball in the ballpark, he usually wins. In his 5 wins this year, he's given up 1 home run. In the 5 losses, he's given up 12. So the Indians got to hope they can get somebody on and shoot one through the wind here.
You know, they have just 1 hit so far. A single by Santana in the second and a walk by Ryan Rayburn in the third. There are only 2 base runners. Kipnis takes a called 3rd strike. He doesn't like Hunter Wendelstadt's view of the strike zone. 2 down. Let's have another look.
Well, fastball down and away, and
it certainly looked like Perez was set up off the plate. Carlos Santana with a single in the second. And it's quickly 0-2. Took care of him on 3 pitches. And the Indians go 1-2-3. Wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. It is a 2-0 Kansas City lead as we go to the 5th inning. And it will be Alcides Escobar to lead off. Ubaldo Jimenez, 83 pitches through 4 innings, 48 strikes. And a strike called to Escobar, who walked and scored in the 3rd.
Well, this is a game where Ubaldo's only given up 2 hits. He has walked to 3, and in that 1 inning is just a bad inning. 2 free passes, 2 wild pitches, and 2 runs later. That's the difference in the ball game.
The confounding aspect of Jimenez is just what you stated. He's not giving up a lot in terms of hits, but 18 pitches per inning is what he's averaged for the season.
Right. And today it's 20.
Yeah.
He's up over 80. We're going into the 5th inning. He's at 87. Now, if and that's one thing when you're a starting pitcher nowadays, you get to that 100 pitch mark, you're not going to go much above that. So if you don't throw strikes, you're a 5-inning pitcher. And that's not doing your team a whole lot of good, especially when you're not scoring. That just puts more pressure on your bullpen.
He takes care of Alcides Escobar for his 4th strikeout tonight, 1 down in the 5th.
He's going to throw a fastball, get him away. That is the one thing that Kansas City has turned around. They have gotten starters to give them innings, and their bullpen has thrown the fewest innings in all of baseball. Their bullpen's thrown 171 innings this year. Last year, they led all of baseball with the most innings. So when you can take that off, you have a fresh bullpen. That's why I think it's helped them become number 1 in the league. They have some great arms over there. We witnessed them last night. We've seen them for years. But when they have to come out and you got to pitch 4 innings a night, and sometimes 3 to 4, sometimes 5 innings a night, that's a long year. You burn out. You need your starters to go some distance. We showed you last night it was James Shields. He's done his part. Santana has done his part this year. They've both have pitched at least 6 innings in every one of their starts this year.
Wow, that looked awfully good. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gordon wasn't going to let a similar pitch go by. He swung at that one, and it was in the exact same location, maybe a little bit more off the plate, but he fouled it off.
Maybe he felt he caught a break, and maybe that's something Kipnis should have done. Not to say it was a strike. That one was way off the plate. Yeah. That was a ball. But, he was protecting. That's what you have to do sometimes, even if it's out of the zone. Just try and foul it off and live for another pitch.
It's that right at Jason Kipnis, and there are 2 down in the 5th.
Well, another 2-night fireworks will be on tap Friday, Saturday this weekend. The Twins will be in town. Friday's show is presented by Wayside Furniture, set to your favorite Disney movie themes. And on Saturday, set to Bon Jovi. Go to Indians.com for your tickets.
Eric Hosmer is 0 for 2 tonight. Picked up an RBI with a ground out in the 3rd. The 0-1 is a strike called and nothing into the count. Now the 0-2. Right back out of play. Hosmer, a liner caught by Kipnis. The Royals go 1-2-3 for the 2nd time tonight. First time since the 1st inning on a terrific play by Jason Kipnis. Michael Brantley, Mark Reynolds, and Lonnie Chisenhall coming up. Royals on top 2-0. Indians have just one hit so far off Irvin Santana, and that came on a leadoff single by Carlos Santana in the second inning. Irvin Santana, meanwhile, through 4 innings, has made just 49 pitches. He's got 6 ground ball outs, 3 strikeouts, including the last 2.
Got to try and get this guy out of the stretch.
Low ball 1 to Michael Brantley. That's down in the dirt, 2-0. Bouncer towards second base, and Getz will throw him out 1 away. Chuck Galletti is ready to talk Tribe with you. Tune in for Chuck's last call tonight, following Indians Live right here on Sports Time Ohio. Mark Reynolds, who grounded into a double plays. First and only time up to end the second inning. You know, it's funny. I was thinking, Rick, I've told the story before about Santana, Irvin Santana, and growing up. He played a lot of basketball as a kid in the Dominican. And so naturally, when your name's Irvin and you're playing basketball, everybody's going to start calling you Magic. And how funny is it that all these years later, Magic Johnson is now part of baseball? Yeah, as an owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And now he's trying to pitch like this Santana.
No, Magic, what was he, 6'9"?
Oh, my goodness.
He'd have been an imposing figure out on the mound.
Like the big unit.
Could have pitched it behind his back the way he could pass.
No doubt.
Now the 1-2. Reynolds just a little tapper foul. Santana. He hasn't really been overpowering for the most part here tonight. Just a lot of good changing of speeds like that right there. His 4th strikeout. And with 2 down, as Lonnie Chisenhall comes to the plate, Katie Witham has more on the Tribe third baseman.
Well, Matt, Terry Francona told me earlier, Lonnie Chisenhall's offensive performance wears on him at times, and he has a tendency to take it out with him to third base. He said when they sent him down to Columbus, they wanted him to get his swing back in order, and to Lonnie's credit, he did anything and everything that they asked him to do.
Saw Travis Fryman spending a little time with Chisenhall before the game today as well. Fryman with the ball club for the next couple of days, and Travis played a long time in the big leagues. He was kind of like the go-to guy in some of those Tigers teams as far as hitting in the middle of the order and playing in the middle of the diamond. Transitioned to third base, with the Indians later in his career as well, and that's a pretty good resource to have when you talk about don't take your offense out on the field with you defensively.
Well, yes, but you have to do that as a player. I mean, I'm sure they tell you that all the time. You learn that as a kid when you go from, once you sign as a professional. And that's something you have to separate. If you're going to be an everyday player, your offense is a bonus. You got to go out there and make every routine play every day if you want to be an everyday big leaguer.
Get down off of his foot.
I mean, and it gets frustrating sometimes, but there are times where defensively you can have lapses just like you can have a slump offensively. So you just have to, minimize those things that go on or those little slumps. It's going to happen more offensively because it's a lot harder to hit. But when you can feel the ball, there's no reason not to make the routine play every day.
Out of play. Well, you talk about taking it into the field with you. How about taking it home with you? I remember Fryman telling me a story that early in his career, he said, I would literally be in my house at night after games taking my swing in front of the mirror, trying to figure out what's wrong with my swing. And he said, you get so wrapped up in it, it becomes consuming. Now the 1-2. Down and in. Evens the count up. Down low. And so Lonnie now has worked the count full. And Santana was just about to start into the windup. I don't know if he got a bug in the eye or what happened, but he stepped away. He's retired 7 in a row. Broken bat liner caught by Escobar. The Indians go 1-2-3, and after 5, it remains 2-0 Kansas City. Ballpark from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Lovely evening here in downtown Cleveland. But so far, Kansas City holds a 2-0 advantage. The Royals have just 2 hits. Neither of those hits figured into the scoring. The Royals' lone 2 runs came in the third on 2 walks, and believe it or not, folks, 2 wild pitches. That's been it for Kansas City. Salvador Perez has flied to center field twice so far tonight. Got a foul off by Salvador Perez. You see Nick Hagedorn up in the Tribe bullpen. Jimenez right at 100 pitches on this next toss. And he steps back. Hit high in the air, center field, but that's not going anywhere tonight. Not that it would have anyway, but especially on a night like this, if you don't keep it down, hitting it in that direction of center field, truly like spitting into the wind.
Death Valley.
Our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. It was the wild pitch that moved the runners over, and the fielder's choice got one in, and the wild pitch got the other one in. That's why I say the wild pitch, that's how both runs scored, because the runners wouldn't have gotten to second and third without the first wild pitch.
Right.
So it's just been a strange night. Jimenez has averaged better than 20 innings per, or 20 pitches per inning. And that's with retiring the side in order twice. Billy Butler walked in the second, grounded out in the third. Three balls, no strikes. And a 4-pitch walk to Butler. While he goes to first, we go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. In Detroit, the Baltimore Orioles have broken through against Justin Verlander. First here in the fourth inning, a 2-run homer by J.J. Hardy, his 19th of the year. And then for the fifth inning, it was a 3-run shot by Adam Jones. 5-0 Baltimore in Detroit. Matt?
All right, thanks a lot, Al. Lorenzo Cain stepping in now for KC. He singled in the second, struck out in the fourth. 2 hits now in the series. His single in that second inning was just a little check swing. He barely swung, and it just flared into right center field.
He protected. That's all it was.
He's quickly in the hole, 0-2.
You know, for Ubaldo in the third, after he walked those first 2 guys, he came right back. In the next 3 hitters, he had him down in the count 0-2.
Wow.
Look
That's
at this
a pretty impressive grip.
Burger.
Hot dog in one hand.
Wimpy.
Grab the ball in the other.
Gladly pay you Tuesday. He got the baseball today.
That is outstanding. Hot diggity dog in one hand.
And didn't miss a beat.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
He didn't even get any mustard on him, or ketchup, or onion.
That's the play of the night so far. Now he's got nachos working.
Oh, that's beautiful. If he was holding that, I would have bet on the ball.
That's how to play. Ubaldo fires, and that's out of play. Ed Yost watching his team in a 2-0 situation here in the sixth with a runner at first, but Billy Butler really 0 speed, so there's not a whole lot he can do here. Cain lays off, and another full count. 7 full counts tonight for Jimenez.
I don't know if you could start Butler in this situation. I wouldn't think so, because Cain in his last at-bat struck out. But with a 2-0 lead, you never know. No.
Runner holds. Cain lines it to right field. Stubbs coming in, makes the
Double.
catch. Throws back to first. Too high. Otherwise, I think they might have had him.
Yes, they did. They would have had him. Tried to get a little more mustard on it, and the throw was upstairs, and Reynolds had to jump for it, or they would have doubled him off. You see, he wasn't even running on the play, and he took off, and then he said, oh, my goodness, he's right there. And then you can see the high throw.
Well, apparently Jimenez has reached his pitch threshold, and with the left-handed hitting David Lowe coming up, Terry Francona is going to go to his bullpen. Jimenez done after 114 pitches here this evening. Tonight's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Left-hander Nick Hagedorn coming on when we come back.
The Twins, Carlos Baerga, former second baseman, will be inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame, and John Hart as well. He will be, who was the architect of those 90 teams, will enter the Hall of Fame for the non-uniformed personnel. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets. Nick Hagedorn on now for the 23rd time this year in his 19 innings, 16 punch-outs, allowed 3 homers. Opposition hitting .215, and with 2 outs coming on to face David Lowe. So Ubaldo went 5 2/3, just 2 hits allowed. Walked 4, struck out 4, a couple of wild pitches, and that's the difference in the ball game, were the wild pitches.
Hagedorn with a fastball for strike 1. Lowe is fly to center, fly to right. And another fastball in there. 0-2 the count. Check to swing. Almost went around. Hagedorn fires. And a fly ball to deep center. Bourne on the move. Into the gap. Makes the catch. The inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 Kansas City. bottom of the 5th inning. It will be Ryan Rayburn, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Bourne due up for the Tribe. Rayburn bounces one to the shortstop, Escobar, and he just throws him out barely. One down as Santana continues to mow him down. We'll go back and revisit the AT&T trivia question. 3 catchers, Rookie of the Year and a Gold Glove. Johnny Bench, maybe?
Well, our own Sandy Alomar, I would think. And how about Carlton Fisk?
Fudge.
Yeah, those are 3 great ones. And by the way, happy birthday, Sandy Alomar. His birthday today. Birthday boy, yeah, 1990, good year for him. First year we got him from San Diego. Gold Glove and Rookie of the Year.
The 1-2. Stubbs lays off. 9 straight retired by the Royals right-hander Irvin Santana. He's given up just 1 hit.
He has settled in.
Foul right back. I mean, you watch Justin Verlander, a guy who can paralyze you with a number of different pitches, including a tremendous fastball. You watch Steven Strasburg, 97, 98, good breaking ball to go with it. You watch James Shields with a paralyzing changeup. Santana doesn't seem to wow you with any one pitch, and yet here he is. That breaks up a string of 9 in a row. He had retired, and he was just cruising along, almost like a comfortable over type guy.
But he's throwing 94. He has a very good slider, and there's that slider that goes straight down. It shatters the bat. But Stubbs ends up getting a hold of it, enough of it to get a base hit. But Santana's got, he's a guy that he's out of the middle of the plate.
Yep.
A couple of times when he's been behind the count, he's thrown fastball in and he's gotten easy outs with it. So, I don't know how to explain it.
Runner goes. Throw down. Not in time. Good jump by Stubbs, his 7th steal of the year. He just simply outran it.
No, that's good. They need something happening here. They got to get some action going. There has been none here. This has been a dead ball game for the Indians, both when they've been in the field, even though it's only been 2 runs. They haven't made the Royals earn it. But Stubbs steals a bag, now in scoring position.
Bourne takes a strike, gets 0-2.
See, that's a great pitch. And now next thing you know, the guy's down 0-2. So now he can go a number of ways. Expand the strike zone as a hitter.
Well, when you have a number of different out pitches and you're pitching from in front like he is.
See, I know what you're saying when you got guys that can be dominating and they have a number of different ways. You're saying, how do these guys ever get hit? But they do. And you'd say, well, I'd rather face this guy than somebody else. He may just be tough to pick up, and you don't pick up the spin on his slider or something like that, but there haven't been very many good swings off him. Let me put it that way.
No, not at all. Bourne hit a bullet his last time up, but he lined it right at third baseman Mike Moustakas. 2-2.
There's the slider, man. The bottom just falls out.
That's 5 strikeouts.
You know, when you look at his, there's the breaking ball. It goes straight down, and I mean it's late break. It's tough to pick up. There's another slider. So all right, there's the 3 outs. There's a fastball, but hit right into the tracks. There was 2 outs there. Slider, another out. Fastball, painted away, got the call. Slider, got away with one. Another slider. So that slider that tells me that these guys are having a tough time picking up the spin on it.
Five strikeouts, 8 on the ground, 4 in the air.
Pretty even.
And only 2 what you would call routine fly balls, and that was Mike Aviles to center field in the first. Brantley flied to left in the second. The other technically fly ball outs, the line drive we showed you by Bourne, and the Lonnie Chisenhall broken bat liner to short. Ew, almost hit him. I'm not sure how Aviles got out of the way. I thought he was going to get drilled for sure.
Well, it was a breaking ball. And he just, over-torqued. That ball backed up on him and went toward the hitter. You know, in the last 2 days, this has been a great ballpark to pitch in because of the way the wind is blowing. This is a very fair park to begin with. But when you've got the conditions that they've had the last 2 days, a little cooler, wind blowing straight in, this is a great park to pitch in now.
Mike Aviles on a 2-0 pitch did not want to offer it that, and it glanced off his bat, so it's 2-1.
That tells me, and he's had a couple of 2-0 counts today that
not
he's been
picking
able
it up.
Right there. You watch. There should be 3-0. You know, there's no way you go after that, but it goes off his bat.
3-1.
This is pitchers' counts. This is what hitters live on. So let's see.
Well, as bad as it has been to this point in the game, it's still only a 2-0 contest. So the Indians still very much alive here, but they need a big jolt. Stubbs in scoring position. He's the first Indian to get there tonight.
He challenged him.
Popped him up. Might be playable. Hosmer to the seats. No, can't reach it.
He got himself a 96-mile-an-hour fastball outside part of the plate, but it was away. It was up, but it was away. If you're going to hit that pitch and do any damage, you got to take him the other way with that ball. You're not going to pull it, not at 96.
Aviles waiting on the 3-2 pitch. And a line drive base hit into left field. Stubbs coming around third. He'll be waved home. He will score, and the Indians are on the board as Mike Aviles delivers on a 2-out 3-2 pitch, bringing home Drew Stubbs. Aviles with his 21st run batted in on the year. The Indians are on the board. It's a 2-1 Kansas City lead.
And well done by Mike Aviles. This is our McDonald's. I'm loving it. He caught a breaking ball, that slider, his go-to pitch today, and it was up enough where Mike kept his hands back, gets it into left field. You have speed at second base. No throw to the plate. The Indians are on the board with none other than a 2-out base hit. RBI by Aviles. So there's the wake-up call for the fans.
Yeah, they could use another big blast here. Kipnis 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 6 now in the series.
That's the pitch. It's about the same pitch he got called out on in that at-bat.
I was thinking about that.
In his last at-bat. That's really close to being the same pitch.
Foul back 1-2. Terry Francona's bunch on the board now. Down a run. 88th pitch of the night from Santana is down low, and the count is 2-2. They've finally made him work here in the 6th. He had retired 9 in a row before the Drew Stubbs base hit here in the 6th inning.
Stolen base certainly paid off for the Indians as well.
Yeah, it did.
You
No
know,
doubt.
get himself into scoring position. There was really nothing happening, and then Aviles hit a nice breaking ball. Both the hits were on breaking balls. Not hit that hard, but able to get on base and put it in play.
Kipnis rung up for the second time tonight. 6 complete, 2-1 Kansas City. With 18 locations in Northeast Ohio, and by Levin.
Oh, boy, look at that cotton candy.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's always good. Just licking it off the fingers.
It'll be good the rest of the night, too.
Mike Moustakas leading off for Kansas City. A base hit his last time up. Nick Hagedorn came on in relief of Ubaldo Jimenez, who went 5 2/3. Broken bat, bloop to right. Stubbs on his horse, racing in, makes the catch. 1 down.
Well, come on down to the ballpark for Dollar Dogs and Postgame Fireworks Show Friday night. Minnesota Twins are in town. It'll be Dollar Dogs all night long. And fireworks will be set to the Disney movie themes.
There's a strike called. Back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let that one go a little too high. 2-2 as Chris Getz was ducking out of the way. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He has grounded out, flied out. 1 for 5 now in the series. Line towards center field. Bourne will have to play it on a couple of hops. And a 1-out single for Getz. We'll bring up Alcides Escobar. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass always in moderation. You got the right-handed hitting Escobar, but then back-to-back left-handed hitters followed, so Francona will stay with Hagedorn. Cody Allen is up in the Tribe bullpen. And it's low and away, ball 1. Escobar walked in, scored in the 3rd, struck out his last time up. There's Cody Allen.
Yeah, Getz is a guy, he can't fall asleep. He's always had very good stolen base percentage. He's 4 out of 5 this year. But this is a guy that handles the bat well, can put it in play. You have to pay attention to him over there. They started a run and bunt yesterday. They had a safety squeeze with him on with the bases loaded, and Kane couldn't score. But they do a lot of things with Escobar at the plate. See, that's a good job there by Hagedorn, just holding the ball. That little extra time, that's part of controlling the running game. Base runners like you to get set, get into a rhythm, and even if you're left-handed, come set, go to the plate. But when you hold it on them, they get a little anxious, and sometimes it is tough to run.
Popped up foul. That's going to go back out of play. 1-2 the count on Escobar. Royals lead it 2-1. Both of their runs coming in the 3rd without the benefit of a hit. The single by Getz, just the 3rd hit of the night for the Royals. Hagedorn. Runner goes. Hit in the air to left. Back is Brantley a few steps. He makes the catch and retreats to first, 2 down. Top of the order, and Alex Gordon. He is 0 for 2, walked and scored in that 3rd. So far in the first 2 games of this series, runs have been at a premium. Whether it's the old tip of the cap toward the pitchers or simply a case where the hitters are a little tight, just not executing, whatever the case, these 2 teams battling neck and neck for the 2nd spot in the Central Division.
Tribes, it's been that way all homestand, really, when you think about it. But Washington in town.
Yeah.
A lot of one-run ball games. The Washington series, they won 2 out of 3. It was 2-1 win, 7-6 loss, 2-0 win, 2-1 loss last night. We're sitting in a 2-1 ball game here. You know, this is what you love. This is old-fashioned, good old, you know, I'd say pitching, but execution, defense. You know, you got to make the plays. It comes down to executing and no mistakes. Tonight, the Royals are on the board because of mistakes, and that, or they shouldn't have 2 runs.
High pop, and I mean sky high. Kipnis under it. And he makes the catch. So the Royals do not score. They lead it 2-1, and it's time now for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. All right, let's take a look at Irvin Santana's line. What he has done so far here tonight, 6 innings. He's allowed 1 run on just 3 hits. He's walked only 1, and he has struck out 6.
Well, and you can see every start this year has gone at least 6 innings, but has also gone 7 innings in 6 straight starts. So if he finishes this inning, make it 7. He's been tough.
1-1 to count. Santana has one of the Indians' 3 hits on the night. It was a leadoff single in the second. 3 singles. The only hits he has allowed, and Rick told you earlier he's given up 14 dingers this year, but this is not a night real conducive to hitting homers.
You're going to, again, have to cut through the wind, and out of those 14, 10 have been solo shots. So that happens when you're a pitcher, you're around the plate. You will give up home runs, but, you know, solo shots don't kill you. They don't start rallies. You know, it's one swing, it's 1 run, and you move on. But I'll tell you, the Indians would certainly take one right here because that would tie the game.
Santana thought it was ball 4. Hunter Wendelstedt calls it strike 2 and a full count. Up high, ball 4, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for just the second time tonight, and the first time since Santana singled to start the second inning. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to that at bat Mike Aviles had in the 6th inning with Stubbs at second base and 2 outs.
He really put together good. Now watch this breaking ball, a little upstairs, but he was able to get enough of the baseball, kept the hands back, drives in the Indians' only run. Nice job by Mike Aviles with 2 outs. But the hitting with runners in scoring position for the Tribe in the month of June has gone way down compared to they were in April and May. 271 in April, 297 in May, and 205 in June.
And Michael Brantley. This is the way it goes when you get into a cold spell. It seems like every time a guy gets to the plate, it's 0-2 before he digs in.
Yeah, but I don't worry. This guy, I've always said, hits with 2 strikes. You know, with Michael, it's a little different than other people that are in slumps because he has a way of putting the ball in play. I'm not saying it's easier, but Michael has that approach that he has confidence to hit with 2 strikes, and he uses the whole field. So that makes it a little easier for him. With 2 strikes, he's a .245 hitter with 11 ribbies. I mean, you can expand his zone a little bit more like you can with every hitter. But you feel a little better with him at the dish when he's down 0-2 than other guys.
Big chopper to second. Goes to second for 1. They return the throw to first, but not in time. Brantley beats it out. So he just changes places with Santana. So Brantley's at first with 1 gone here in the 7th. Tribe down a run.
High hopper. That's what's going to stop the Royals from turning that one. Getz had to sit back and wait for that big hop. You see how Escobar really rushed that throw, and he's got a great arm at shortstop. You had to wait for it, and you're just not going to turn it because the ball wasn't hit hard enough.
Mark Reynolds, the batter, 0 for 2 tonight. 2 for 6 in the series. He had a couple of knocks last night. And a good fastball at the knees for a strike. That's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big swing and a miss. Quick toss, but back with a dive is Brantley. Michael has 5 steals on the year. Santana just over 100 pitches on the night. Mark Reynolds trying to turn this game around with 1 swing of the bat. Brantley just did get back ahead of the slap tag by Hosmer. Might have been leaning a little bit that time.
Well, he gets a fastball, but you see they wanted it away. It comes back over. He had with 2 strikes, so it's tough. You're protecting. That was at 95, but he got that fastball, I think, to go back to the slider. And that slider away.
And that's hit in the air, deep right field. Back is low. On the track. At the wall. Makes the catch deep in the corner for out number 2. Well, Reynolds gave it a ride, and you never know with the wind. Sometimes you might get a little extra boost down on that corner. But it just died right in front of the 325 mark.
Well, they went for the slider. He left it upstairs, and Reynolds hit it high, and it was down there, and you see low right on the track. Running sideways now. That is out number 2.
Now Lonnie Chisenhall flies one into shallow center. Long run. And Lorenzo Cain slides and makes the catch to end the inning. So the leadoff walk does no damage. And we'll go to the 8th. 2-1 Kansas City. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Irvin Santana getting handshakes in the Kansas City dugout. His night would appear to be over after 7 innings, allowing just 1 run. Meanwhile, for the Indians, Cody Allen coming on as today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Nick Hagedorn went an inning in the 3rd of scoreless relief tonight. Did give up 1 hit. That was it, though. Cody Allen has been terrific. 29th appearance. A win, no losses. 2.10 ERA. 30 innings, 39 strikeouts.
Yeah, just trying to hold the fort.
He's got Eric Hosmer, Salvador Perez, and Billy Butler. In the air, slicing down the line and out of play as Brantley went a long way, but couldn't get to it. Bounced the breaking ball in the dirt. slowly tap back to the mound. Allen throws it away. And Hosmer on his way to second, and he might not stop there.
You're right. Unbelievable.
On his way to third, and the throw not in time.
You talk about execution and making the play. Routine that doesn't get any easier than this. Allen just has to make a good throw to first base and throws it wide, and Hosmer, look at this. Not even close. Hosmer looking behind him, and he says, I'm going for 3. Just a routine tapper. One hopper. Well, an error, and that's infield coming in now in a one-run ball game.
Salvador Perez 0 for 3 tonight. All 3 times he has flied to center. This one's back out of play. He's not a burner, Eric Hosmer, but he runs well. Up the middle and through. Salvador Perez, his first hit of the night. And it's now 3-1 Kansas City. Another self-inflicted wound for the Indians here tonight, as Hosmer comes home and the Royals restore their 2-run advantage.
Love to hit with the infield in. You just get a piece of it, and it goes right back up the middle for a base hit. So the throwing error really hurt Allen and the Tribe.
Billy Butler, couple of walks tonight. He's also grounded out. Here's a double play ball. Aviles will step on the bag, throw to first, and that's a twin killer. In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. And this has absolutely been gift wrapped by the Indians here tonight. There is no other way
with a ribbon on it. Couple of wild pitches and a throwing error, and that. On the year for the Indians pitchers, they have made a total of 5 errors, but 3 of them have been by relievers. Shaw had one, Smith, and now Cody Allen.
It's hard to figure. I mean, it's almost like when it rains, it pours. I mean, defensively, Rick, on this homestand, we've just seen a number of.
Well, they had 5 errors in 2 games. They had 3 and then 2, and this one here is just a plain one hopper. There's no. I mean, there's.
And then you add in the wild pitches, the balls that maybe should have been blocked, whatever, however you want to describe them. It's just been all over the place.
It's funny, as we talk about a lot of times, anytime you make mistakes and you lose, they're magnified. You win, it sort of covers it up, but you can't make, flaws like that on a daily basis.
Well, and especially in close games, which we've talked about. They're playing a lot of close games, and when you're in a one-run situation, a mistake can be pivotal. 3-1 Kansas City. Express and Total Car Care. It's coming up following the ball game. We've got the highlights, reaction from the clubhouse, analysis. It's all straight ahead following the ball game. The Indians down 3-1, coming to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kelvin Herrera on for the 26th time this year.
Yeah, another power arm coming out of that bullpen for Kansas City. He was a rookie last year. He had 76 appearances, and this guy can get it up there as well. He got off to a rocky start. They thought this guy's going to be closer material, gave up some home runs early, and was sent back down, but has had 6 appearances since returning to AAA from Omaha back on June 4th.
Ryan Rayburn has walked and grounded out. Herrera, 99 miles an hour, delivers down low. Two and 0 the count as Perez went out in front of the plate. You see him pounding the glove.
Let's go. He's saying strikes, throw strikes. Come on out there, be aggressive. You're throwing hard enough. Make him hit it.
All right, it's 3-0. At the belt.
Well, you need a base runner. Rayburn, he'll make you work. He's not afraid to take a walk. He walked earlier in the game back in the 3rd inning.
That's ball 4. So the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. They'll bring the tying run to the plate. Find out what the Cavaliers are going to do with their top picks in the NBA draft with our NBA expert, Sam Amico. Stories every day and live web chats every Wednesday only on FoxSportsOhio.com. Drew Stubbs taking, and it's in there for a strike.
Well, what that walk did, you bring the tying run to home plate. Boy, especially the leadoff one. You got to hate that as a manager, don't you?
Slowly chopped to the mound. Herrera's only played at first. Throws on the money to get Stubbs. 1 away. Rayburn moves to second base. Let's revisit our keys to the game from earlier tonight. Well, Jimenez, again, it's just a frustrating performance. He only allowed the 2 hits, but the 4 walks and a lot of pitches, so he couldn't get through 6 innings. Get the offense on track, that did not happen. Irvin Santana pretty much completely stifled them, allowing just 3 hits in 7 innings of work. Now Michael Bourne. Painted the outside corner at 100 miles an hour. And then he comes with a slider at 88. Bourne did well just to get a piece of that. It's 80. It's a 0-2. Herrera, a bit of a rarity in that he's only 5'10". There aren't many right-handers that throw with that kind of power and velocity that are under 6 feet tall. But he is compact and just explodes off that rubber. His only problem at times has been throwing strikes.
And yes, that happened to that bullpen last year, but this year, boy, when you come in and that starter turns it over for
fair ball down the left field line, coming around third. Rayburn will score. Bourne has to stop. The ball got hung up, and wisely so. It's a 1-out RBI single for Michael Bourne, his 11th ribby on the year, and the Indians have cut it to a 1-run game at 3-2. And you talk about perfect placement Michael Bourne bounced it right over the bag at third.
Well, he left a hanging breaking ball. He's throwing 100 on the block, and he comes up with a breaking ball, and he leaves it upstairs, but a great job by Bourne. And that's even a better play by Gordon to hold Michael Bourne to a single. He's thinking double all the way. Well, he had to go right up against that wall and field it. But he holds him to a single. That's a tying run. That's the big run out there. Bourne, a good job hitting. The walk comes back and bites him. They make it a 3-2 ball game. But now you got to keep your eye on Bourne, and we'll see how quickly Herrera gets rid of the ball and gives his catcher an opportunity.
Dave Island, the pitching coach, out to talk with Herrera. After Bourne bounced the breaking ball down the third base line, and now the tying run is at first. Mike Aviles at the plate. Aviles drove in the Indians' first run of the night back in the sixth with an RBI single. Out of play. Chased one up high, just over 100 miles an hour. Too high with that pitch.
Yeah. If you're going to get beat, I would think you got to get beat with that fastball.
Don't you think that's what Dave Island came out and probably told him?
No question. When you hang a breaking ball after you have 2 strikes on a hitter and give him something to hit, you're just doing him a favor, and he did a favor right there for Bourne.
Almost hit him with that 100-mile-an-hour heater.
I guarantee you, he had to say something because it's been nothing but raw heat ever since then. He goes in, now you push him back. Let's go with it away this time instead of in.
Runner goes. Aviles, a base hit into left field. Bourne stops at second after he slid in safely. And the Indians with back-to-back hits here in the 8th inning off flame-throwing Kelvin Herrera, and Ned Yost has already seen enough.
Boy, what a good job. Aviles goes back. And what did I tell you? It doesn't matter how hard you throw the ball down the middle. The major league hitters will find a way to put it in play, and Aviles smoked it. Bourne had a great jump. He could have stolen the base, but he goes in sliding because he was straight stealing. He didn't see where the ball was, but it was hit right on the nose to Gordon. Herrera's day is over. He started the inning with a walk. They scored, and he's leaving with 2 men on.
Man, they'll go to the left-hander. Tim Collins coming on when we come back. Bottom of the 8th, a run in. 2 men on base, 1 out. And Tim Collins on for the 28th time this year. 2-1, a 2.25 ERA. And he'll be facing Jason Kipnis, who is 0 for 3 on the night. And 0 for 7 in the series. And Collins has just come on and stopped every uprising imaginable.
And that's a good feeling for a manager when a guy can come out and you have inherited runners and you can keep them there.
Low and away, ball 1 to Jason Kipnis. And a fastball called a strike.
Remember a couple of years ago, Matt, when they only had this guy coming out of their bullpen as a left-hander.
It was a workhorse. Now Kipnis bloops one over the left field. Down the line it goes. Coming around third, Bourne will score the tying run. Aviles into third with the go-ahead run. Kipnis with an RBI double. And we are tied at 3. Boy, Jason Kipnis just went right with the pitch. Sounded like he broke his bat, but he flared it down the left field line. And the Indians have drawn even now with 2 here in the 8th inning.
First extra base hit. You talk about making an adjustment. They've been out there all night long on him, and he's complained about it. But this time, he did something about it. He put it in play, and he gets a double and ties the game. They'll walk Santana now to load the bases, and they'll keep Collins in to face Brantley. But that was a beautiful job by Kipnis of making an adjustment. Well, the Indians are going to have the chance to take a lead here. Bases loaded. Bring it up to Michael Brantley.
So there's ball 4 to Santana. He'll jog down to first, and now Michael Brantley with a chance to inflict some damage now. A chance to take the lead for the first time tonight for the Indians. Brantley is 0 for his last 11. But he can wipe out a whole lot of frustration with one quality at bat now. Even a fly ball to the outfield deep enough to score Aviles would give the Indians the lead. Infield, double play depth. Swung on and missed. Chased a high fastball. Brantley, the 7th man to bat in the inning for the Tribe. Bases loaded, 1 out. Lays off, and it's just a little bit outside. He goes from 94 with a fastball to 75 with that slow curve. Fouled right back. Off the mask of Salvador Perez. And now 1-2 the count.
That had to be a changeup. That had to be a changeup. It was only 84. His first pitch was 94. Brantley fouled off. Went with a slow hook and then a straight change. That was actually a pretty good pitch to hit for Michael.
There's a breaking ball. Right field. Low. Makes the running catch. Here comes Aviles. Here's a throw to the plate. Not in time. Aviles scores the go-ahead run. Brantley gets him home from third. His 30th run batted in on the year. And the Tribe has come back with 3 in the 8th to take a 4-3 lead. A swinging bat is a dangerous bat, as you like to say.
It sure is. He got himself a breaking ball. He kept his hands back. And that was a good job of just staying back enough, not trying to do too much. Take what is given. And now with Lowe out in right field, he was on the run. So it's tough to make an accurate throw when you're moving one direction or another. Aviles comes in, 3rd run of the inning. The Indians take the lead 4-3.
Now Mark Reynolds. That's called a strike. Not so sure. Reynolds, the 8th man to bat in the inning, 0 for 3 on the night. And a good fastball. And Reynolds is rung up by Hunter Wendelstedt. So the Indians rally for 3 in the 8th. They lead it 4-3 as we go to the 9th. Tire Express and Total Car Care. It's coming up following the ball game here on Sports Time Ohio. The highlights, analysis, and a reaction from the clubhouse. We go to the 9th inning, and Vinny Pastano coming on now to try and close it out for the Indians. Pastano, 20th appearance, 1 win, 2 losses. He has struck out 19. He's walked 9. In 19 innings of work. Vinny looking for save number 2. He's got the 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for the Royals. David Lowe, Mike Moustakas, Chris Getz. David Lowe for 3 has flied out all 3 times. And Vinny Pastano with the first pitch strike. Up and away, 1-1 to count. Right back up the middle, and that is through. And the Royals get the tying run aboard to start the ninth.
Right back up the middle. He gets on top of it. Little two-seamer going away, gets past Pastano and into center field.
Now the batter is Mike Moustakas, 1 for 3 on the night. A little bit outside for ball one. One for 5 against Pastano for Moustakas. Two balls, no strikes. David Lowe, the runner at first base, held by Reynolds. That's the tying run. The 2-0 pitch. It's inside. It's ball 3. The 3-0 bullseye. Three-one pitch. Right back over the screen. Now a full count. So Pastano has come back. And now he's got a chance to get Moustakas. Pastano ready, the payoff pitch. And it's lined into right field, a base hit. Lowe will stop at second as Stubbs gets to it quickly. And the Royals have their first 2 on here in the 9th inning.
Well, when you fall behind that guy 3-0, you've got to come back, and you're not going to walk him. And you know, as a hitter, you're saying, give me your best pitch, and you know it's a fastball. Moustakas got a fastball up, lined it into right center field, so it's back-to-back singles, and Kansas City has something brewing here in the 9th.
All right, what do they do strategy-wise now? They're talking it over the Indians.
You bunt it over. No question about it. You've got the tying run at second. You've got the go-ahead run at first. Move them over, and this is a guy that can bunt, handle a bat. You're at the bottom part of the lineup.
This is roughly where we were last night.
Exactly.
In the situation with Rich Hill in the ballgame, and he went to field the bunt, and his feet came out from underneath him.
They'll take their chances if they move him over. You've got Escobar, a guy that can handle the bat that's up after that, and then Gordon. So they'll take their chances, no question. Getz has 5 sacrifices on the year, so he leads that team.
Indians pinch in at the corners. He squares. He pulls it back and takes a strike. There you go. Gets among the leaders. He and Escobar, his teammate who bats right behind him in the lineup. Again, Reynolds at first. Johnny Mack at third pinching in. He squares. He bunts it towards Reynolds, and it's foul. And now the count is 0-2.
Okay, normally a guy that you can rely on bunting, just you get a little frazzed sometime trying to make a perfect bunt. And he's down to the count 0-2, and now I doubt you make him go again. You rarely see it.
All depends on how much confidence he has in himself and Ned Yost has in him.
Yeah, a lot of times you just go ahead and let the guy swing the bat because you got a better chance at driving one in than laying down that bunt. You foul it off, you're out anyway.
He swings and strikes out. One down in the ninth.
This is a good breaking ball from Pistano. Slider down out of the zone. Gets him to chase after it. A big strikeout right there. Very big strikeout. Didn't get his job done. Pistano comes back. Now new life for Benny.
Alcides Escobar has walked and scored, struck out, flied out. And it's ball one to Escobar, who, as Rick mentioned, handles the bat very well.
He uses the whole field. He goes from line to line. It's not an easy guy. He finds a way. You see 1 for 6. Vinny's had his way. Only one punch out. Hopefully you can get a ball at one of your middle infielders and turn it.
Popped him up. Out of play. 1-1 the count. A nail biter tonight. Royals led it 2-0. The Indians closed it within 2-1. And the Royals went ahead 3-1 before the Indians rallied for 3 in the bottom of the 8th to take a 4-3 lead. Now Kansas City threatening here in the ninth. 2 on, 1 out, up high. 2 balls and a strike. Line to right field, a base hit. Stubbs plays it on a hop. Coming around third, David Lowe gets the stop sign. He ran through it, and now they've got him hung up in a rundown. Santana runs him back to third. McDonald now to Pistano. Pistano will run him back, and they'll tag him out. And so Lowe will be safe at third.
How about that? It was a late stop sign. I don't know if it was late. Lowe thought he was scoring all the way, but when you have Gordon coming up, you've got to know your situation. Stubbs with a good arm in right field. You see, he was holding them up all the way. And it was just too late to turn back. He got himself in a rundown. Then at the end of this play, he almost took his hand off the bag. And he's not out. It's Moustakas out because he's occupying the bag. Moustakas told him to put his hand down on the bag or he would have been out for a double play.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
How about that? You see, watch, he gets caught and just wasn't paying attention there. A bad job of base running. He does his job. Both runners move up, but he's still occupying third base. He's safe. Moustakas is out. Now, Pistano, if he would have kept the glove on, put your foot, yeah. He got his hand right back on the base, or that would have been a game-ending double play. Now, take your pick. Do you want to pitch to Gordon? You want to pitch to Hosmer? You can walk the bases loaded, or you got to go at Gordon.
Well, let's see what the Indians choose to do. Hosmer waiting in the on-deck circle.
They're going to pitch to him.
Down in the dirt, ball one. Upstairs.
They're not going to give him much to hit here at all. Start him off with a breaking ball down, a fastball up and in. This guy is a good hitter. I would just pretty much put him on. Hosmer's a good hitter, but he's more aggressive, and I think he has a few more holes than Gordon does.
Down in the dirt. There's the tying run, David Lowe. Escobar at second base would be the go-ahead run. Now the 3-0 pitch is ball 4. So they basically pitched around Gordon. And they'll go at Hosmer now. And I like the thinking there, only in that, I mean, Gordon comes in 297, 6 homers, 36 ribbies. I mean, he's been their best player for the last couple of years. And while Hosmer's no slouch, I think you're better off going at him. Will it pay off? A first pitch strike from Pistano. Game on the line now. With the bases loaded and 2 down, nowhere to put him. Pistano's got to go at him, and Hosmer knows it. Big chopper, first base, Reynolds, the flip. Pistano's got it, and the game is over. The Indians even the series with a thrilling 4-3 win as Vinny Pistano nails down his second save in dramatic fashion as the Royals leave him loaded in the 9th. What a comeback for the Indians offensively, too. Limited to just 3 hits through the first 7 innings. But in the 8th, they score 3 runs on 3 hits, and they make it stand up. 4-3 is your final score here tonight. Whew. Time now for the key play of the game. It's brought to you by KeyBank.
Looking at it in the 9th inning, on a base hit, you think you're going to have a tie game or bases loaded and 1 out, but David Lowe runs through the stop sign, and he gets caught in no man's land. And then they run him back. They get him in the rundown. The other runners move up like they should do. Lowe almost makes a double mistake, stays off the bag, but Pistano tags him out. So that's out number 2, and Vinny ends up walking Gordon, getting the last out. That is going to be our KeyBank key play of the game. Proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians.
Well, terrific job by Vinny Pistano. He never wavered in that 9th inning. He bobbed and weaved and worked his way through it. And the Indians win it to even the series at a game apiece. Indians Live is coming up first. But first, we've got some final thoughts after this.